So today I'll be coloring this piece. It's a collab with Blue Capo Art, his OC Moriko. And yeah, we decided to just color both our images. So everyone drew one sketch. And yeah, originally it was going to be only one coloring per person. But yeah, you know, it's just more fun to do both. And in this case, I originally started out with a sketchbook drawing. But since the paper has other drawings on the other side, I decided, yeah, I just print it again on another piece of paper and then work on the coloring. Yeah, all in all, I prepared all kinds of Copics beforehand. And today I'll only be coloring the character and yeah, the background maybe another time. Because I've got a bunch of other stuff I want to draw today, like my mentorship homework and stuff. But it's just fun to do a little, you know, low stakes drawing every now and then, just for fun. Ah yeah, in case you have any questions, I probably won't be able to check the comments, sorry. But yeah, I hope you'll still get something out of this. Yeah, in general, if you have any questions about my process or just with art in general, you can DM me anytime you want. And yeah, I also do a YouTube channel where I sometimes critique art if someone submits something. So if you need help, that's an option. But yeah, I think for now I just concentrate a bit on the coloring, otherwise I might get a bit distracted with the talking. Yeah, maybe just a little extra info. I usually start with the skin color, or like, yeah, if it's a darker skinned character, then another part of the image that is lighter. Because with traditional media, it's kind of important to pick a order of, you know, the colors you choose to go with. Because if you start with a very dark part and then you go over it with a lighter color, later on, it could be that it spills over in the other part, which you might not want. So yeah, I'm pretty particular with this, with traditional media. I mean, with digital, it's like, yeah, you can do pretty much anything, obviously. Because you can change it up later on and fix it in post, so to say. Yeah, I'll keep it very simple because I want the overall, you know, atmosphere to be kind of not necessarily lighthearted, but like fitting the genre of his webcomic, which is more like slice of life with, you know, some drama, because like this character is a bully and yeah, not someone you'd want to meet. But yeah, still interesting to read about her. And yeah, so recently I have been caught up with Blue Capo's webcomic, but he's just so quick, you just, you know, turn your head to the other side for 5 minutes and he has like a bunch of new pages out, and now I'm out of the loop again. But yeah, good on him for being so productive. Yeah, so next up I'll be doing the hair, just because. I mean, at this point, most of her colors are going to be the same kind of value, so it doesn't really matter which one I pick. I bring back some of the skin color, It's just a nice effect to blend it in with the hair. You see it in a lot of art nowadays. I don't know if I can make it work that well, but you know, just experimenting. Yeah, it's pretty subtle. Okay. So it's kind of getting where I want it to go. Unfortunately, the green colors are hard to blend. But I'll have to live with it, because that's traditional media for you. One try, no more. Yeah, later on I can maybe try changing it up with some jelly pen, a white one, and changing the highlights this way. But for now, this is it. Oh well, in general I really love coloring with Copics. And the sad thing is, I have a friend who has a sensory issue with the noise that markers make on paper. So he can never ever paint with markers because the noise just rips his ears apart. Yeah. Like, it's a legit sensory issue. I mean, at least there's other types of coloring media, so... Yeah, but still, sometimes I think, like, that's tough. I just love markers so much. She sure has a lot of hair. This is taking a while. Yeah, I apologize if there are any sounds that the camera picks up from my cats, because they are sometimes pretty needy. I prepared everything they could need, but I think they are playing right now. So yeah, no worries, nothing is happening at my place. It's really just them being a little bit rowdy. She may be a bully, but she's getting the shiniest hair in town. God, I wish I had shiny hair. Nah, just kidding. Okay, now we're getting to the darker colors of the hair, and I think I'm starting out with the darkest tone first. Because now that I have a base coat, it's not that big a risk to take a very dark color and blend it later on, because it sort of swims on this first layer, which is practical. Also kind of fun to think about. Sometimes I think it would be fun to see what it looks like, you know, very up close and like a microscope. Which is a very low priority scientific topic, I know, but like, yeah. Still a fun thought. Yeah, this definitely needs another step of the darkest color to just have a bit more structure, because the blending now works very well and it just blends too much together. Do you see the difference now if I add another coat of the darkest color? It's way cooler. I have to always be careful to not add too much of the dark colors, because otherwise if you have no light to contrast it, it gets a bit boring. And obviously I don't want it. There's some sort of phrase, I think, that the worst art is the boring one. Because if it's at least so bad that you can laugh about it or whatever, then it has some merit, so to say. But boring art, ooh, that's a sin. Yeah. Honestly, all in all, it all doesn't matter that much. I think what matters most is that you just have fun creating it. What else is the point? Yeah, no worries about these little colors in the wrong area. This jacket will be green later on, so this little mistake won't make a difference later on. That's the practical thing about characters who share a lot of similar colors. You can easily cover up any mistakes later. So practical. Okay, we're starting to get there. I was afraid that the hair would be taking forever because she has such long hair, but I think it's moving along pretty quickly overall. Oh man, my cat is just making the most heartbreaking noises ever, but he's such a drama queen. I've already cuddled with him like an hour today, I think. But he's so cute. And he has very faint meows, like they don't really sound like meow. It's kind of like his voice is giving out, and he has always been like this. So I adopted my cats like a year ago. Yeah, pretty much a year ago, actually, in a few days. So yeah, but they had a they were very unlucky with their last owners, because the owner died of cancer, and now they are sometimes very needy and oh. But I spend a lot of time with them, and sometimes they just have to make it without us, for work and whatever. Yeah, maybe with enough consistency they will notice that we will not abandon them, and just I mean, an illness is not the same thing as abandoning a cat, but it's just a bit difficult that you can't tell them, it's fine, baby, I'm there for you, I will do my best to take care of you. Would be cool to be able to talk to animals. But I already noticed that if I let them be with me in the room while I do something important, sometimes they run over the table and cause a ruckus. It just doesn't work, unfortunately. But I love them so much. So much. Honestly, in hindsight, I don't know how I made it so long without having cats in my apartment. So my parents always had cats since I was little, and obviously, my best friends were cats for the longest time. And so when I moved to my own apartment, I was pretty much overthinking it, like, will I be able to take proper care of the cats? And oh no, all these things. And eventually I decided to just do it because I really missed having cats around at all times. And it was a good decision for me. So it really just depends on the circumstances and how much time someone has for them. But given that I'm home a lot anyway, that's very alright. Yeah, and my boyfriend is also someone who sticks at home a lot, so at most times there's someone there to take care. It will just be hard for them next week because we will be flying to Athens and won't be there for a week, both of us, for the first time. So, but I already got a trusty cat sitter who I know will cuddle them enough. So maybe they will forgive us soon. We'll see. Nah, but I also made an agreement that we will we will do some Discord calls every now and then just for the cats. Because otherwise they will miss us so much probably, and you know, think we are also dead. So it would be so mean. So obviously, yeah, calling the cats. I hope it will work out. I don't know. I'm just probably thinking about it too much. So anyway, the hair is done so far. I think I'll just do the eyes next. Yeah, in general, I like doing the eyes early on in every coloring because it just feels more complete with it, doesn't it? She has nice purple ones. Love that for eyes. I wish it were a natural color that can actually appear. Because it's just so pretty. See, now usually I'm getting very close to my paper when I'm working without a camera. So that I accidentally spilled some color over the highlight. But it's okay. That's what the jelly pen is for. See? Boop. Good as new. Okay. I think I'll do the shirt next. Starting with the lighter color again. And then the shadow color. Okay, these colors for some reason are a bit hard to blend with each other, even though they are pretty close together. So I have to be extra fast. Yeah, it just doesn't really dissolve. Yeah, I'll have to make peace with it and just keep it more like a cell shading kind of coloring. Yeah, it's no problem as well. Honestly, all in all, cell shading has a very cool, crisp look, and I think overblending is, yeah, a problem for more artists than cell shading, because with cell shading it just looks stylish anyway. So yeah, maybe it's not a bad thing after all. At least the lighter color dissolves a bit in itself and makes a soft look like I want it to. I don't know, maybe with the blender. Nah, doesn't do anything. It also makes like those weird blotches. No, I won't be doing it this way. You know what? I'll fix it with colored pencils later on. Yeah, those are just very practical in combination with Copic markers for any sort of detail or, as I said, problem fixes. So the blue, yeah, I don't know. I'm not very satisfied with it right now, but it will be fine. That's the magic of traditional art. Sometimes even after all those years, you can tell what the result will be. Ah. So next up, yeah, I think I'll go with the jacket. It's very dark and green again. So it's not very smooth in some places, but that's okay because I'll fix it later with the shading and then blending again. I gotta say the paper is very nice for blending in general. It's I forgot what the exact title was, but it's one of the Japanese Copic papers. They have way more variety than over here in the shops. And there is a certain Copic paper pad that they sell here that had a very nice texture in the beginning, but at some point they changed the formula and now I don't know anyone who likes that paper. I don't know if they still sell it. I tried it the last time, like, oh gosh, like 5 years ago, so maybe that information is out of date anyway. But it was, yeah, I don't know. It was so funny because it's the paper pad by the company that makes the markers, and you'd think they probably do a good job at making paper for their own markers, but the paper was just, yeah, it wasn't working. You couldn't blend well on it. Like, honestly, some cheap paper might even work better than that one. But yeah, I don't know. The good thing is there are many papers that work well with Copic, so that's okay. In the end, everyone has to test a bunch for themselves anyway. Because a lot of it just also depends on taste, I suppose. I know a lot of people just use mixed media paper or like maybe even watercolor paper, like really thick one. Others like the thin papers because then you can also draw through it, like, put the sketch under your final paper and yeah, have a very, very clean line art. That's also nice. Yeah. Yeah. Gotta be careful with the edges. My whole stance is very different with the camera setup. So sometimes I'm making some very weird, like small mistakes today. But I want to get used to it because doing lives is also fun. I also wouldn't say that I'm much of a camera person, but I'm just brute forcing it in a way because I want to be able to do certain things even though they aren't necessarily in my nature. I just don't want to stop at, stuff that comes easy to me. If I think something looks like an interesting direction, then I'm going for it. Even if I'm being like a little weirdo, especially at the beginning. That's just how it goes. Because otherwise you are very limited in what you can do in your life, and that's... I don't like boring stuff. I really enjoy with this piece that there is so much green. So the weird thing is, I like green pretty much. It's a nice color, but somehow I don't really use it often. Like even with forest backgrounds and stuff, I tend to use a lot of blue because of, you know, aerial perspective, and not like really juicy greens. But I love them. I love them. Oh, no, recently, recently I did a whole piece that was mostly monochromatic green, so maybe take everything I say with a grain of salt, because I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. Just kidding. Okay, so I'll try something with a different tone in the highlights, because yeah, it's exactly like I wanted it to be. Now the color is on point. Yeah, obviously, if you're trying to imitate a color with traditional media, oftentimes you just have to mix it. And I guess if you don't want to spend all day experimenting, then at some point you just have to take a color and throw it on top and hope for the best. Yeah, but a lot of it is just experience too. Like people who work with oil colors and stuff like this, I have a lot of admiration for that patience, because, yeah, I don't know, it seems like a hard medium to master. And also, if I remember it correctly, it probably takes a lot of mixing colors and knowing which ones work well with each other. So there must be a lot of patience that goes in with the craft. And also like just waiting for the color to dry down. That's really not the problem with Copics. So with Copics, if you want to blend something, yeah, you have to be very fast, and the struggle sometimes is that you might be too slow and the colors are already a bit more set than they would have been a millisecond ago. But it's also very satisfying to just experience the colors. And it's so hard to explain this to someone who is maybe just watching and has never used them. But they have a very specific sensation to them. I don't know. How much can you fangirl about markers? Let's find out. But honestly, sometimes I really feel pity for people who just never tried to express themselves in art. Even though there's like a million other things they can do for fun. I know totally, maybe it's also not everyone's thing, but sometimes I still think like, yeah, art is just so much fun. So, jacket is about done as well. Yeah, the structure is a bit hard to get right with the wrinkles. Yeah. It needs some more form. Just getting the shape back. No, not in the skin. Need the blender. Yeah, this might be another case where the jelly pen will save me, but I have to wait until it dries. Yeah, if you put jelly pen stuff right on the color while it's still wet, it can sometimes turn a bit ugly and become runny. Patience is important. At some point, I will master the art, sorry, of talking and drawing at the same time, with full-on concentration, hopefully. Yeah, going for the lighter color first after all. because it could be a bit risky to start with the dark one. So the skirt itself, it looks like it's supposed to be black in the original, but I don't want to use actual black in the drawing here, because it can sometimes really overpower the other colors and draw the gaze to it instantly. So I'm keeping it a little lighter, but still dark. I think this will work out a bit better. Nearly forgot that this part is supposed to be shaded because it's a fold. Better. Oh, by the way, hi, my watchers. I hope it's entertaining enough. I used to be so nervous about people watching me draw and color whatever. And it's like many things, you just have to do it so often that at some point it becomes like no deal at all. And I think conventions helped a lot with that. I really hope that the whole pandemic can be over soon. I mean, who doesn't hope that, like, duh. But I really hope that conventions will become a regular thing without it being risky, obviously. That would be so awesome. I'm thinking that for the skirt, I'll bring in a little bit of blue, just to make it have a bit more variety. I'm not pulling a lot of, scientific thought into the way I choose the colors for this piece, because it's mostly for fun. Maybe, just throw it on the green as well. It doesn't change a lot. It really doesn't make a difference. If I want to bring in more blue over the green, I think I'll have to do it with colored pencils as well. Yeah, it can be a lot of fun to play with like reflective lights on the materials. It just gives everything more dimensionality. Yeah, I think it's getting better. With skirts like these, I think a part of the appeal with the folds is getting them not too regular, but still have some sort of rhythm with it, which is kind of hard to pull off. Yeah, I guess maybe I'll leave it at that, because if I work on it too much, then it will become way too important compared to the other visual stuff. Okay, so I think the color mistake from before has dried. Time to fix it. Yeah. Okay. There is also some color spill. Yeah. Some colors are a bit mean because they, you put them down on the paper and then they spread afterwards. No matter how well the paper is suited for markers. But that's just the medium. Okay, but I think this is pretty acceptable now. If I want to fix it up some more, I can do that with, Photoshop. So that's alright. Okay, then let's get to the last part, which is the tie. And the tie will be fun because I will need a colored pencil to finish it, because it has a very fine pattern on it. And here the mixing will be interesting because I don't have the exact color in traditional, Copics. So I'll try to get as close as I can to the impression by just throwing 3 different orange, reds and stuff together. It will be fairly different. But I hope Blue Capo can forgive me for that. Not butchering the character on purpose, Nah. He is a very good soul. I think the day where Blue Capo really, goes mad at someone, that's when shit hits the fan, because he's very kind and nice. So, yeah. It's really not the same red, but it has to do. It has to do. I can maybe throw on some of the blue again and hope for the best. So, wait a little bit. Okay, maybe now it works. Yeah, it's a bit dark. Okay, no, it doesn't blend at all. But I think it still gives a little bit of dimensionality to it, so there's that. It's alright. I'm just being too perfectionistic again. Okay, then it's time for the colored pencil. So it's like very, very fine lined checker pattern. I don't know if that's the word. It doesn't show up as much as I hoped, but it's still better than nothing. I think I'll use a trick and go over it with a darker color next to it, just to make the lighter parts stand out more. Yeah, definitely have to do that, otherwise it's not as intense as I hope to be. Yeah, but that's pretty normal with those traditional media. They can't do magic, but they are pretty close to it. Okay, I think I have the one, just have to sharpen it a bit. Oh. Yeah, that sharpening ASMR. No, so polychromos, they have wonderful colors. I love them so much, but sharpening them is sometimes the hardest part because they break so easily. Love the brand, love them to death, but sharpening sometimes it's so silly, but sometimes I'm thinking, wow, an assistant just for sharpening colored pencils. This would be so awesome. Just kidding, of course, but am I? Am I kidding? I don't know. So okay, yeah, I think this works better. So if I'm putting down lines right next to the pattern, then it stands out a little bit better. I mean, it's still pretty sloppy in this case, but I can't really do it as precisely as with digital media. So it's gonna have to do. Yeah. Yeah, I think this. Yeah. Okay, let's stop here for now. And yeah, I don't know if I will do a live of the background as well at some point, or add more details to the character. I don't know, we'll see. And you have a very nice day. I'll save the live in the archives. Okay, bye.